Okay, so we are on our DC. Okay, that's what I was going to go do. See who's making all this racket over here in the Teams meeting. As soon as I can find my mouse. Okay, so look over here. Admit. No, I want it turned in. So that's why I said a separate piece of paper. If you have a spiral for a journal, you can do it and rip it out. But I have some graph paper up here you can use. Okay, great. So let's see. Okay, Christopher, Ivan, Garen, Caleb. Okay, cool. All right, so we are going to get started. Remember, you're doing the work that I'm doing. Maybe not necessarily everything, but I will tell you if you don't need to write something, okay? So we're going to start with this first one. Mrs. Billings' home economics class cut pieces of fabric for a project. The table shows the lengths of fabric cut by students. Oh, I just realized I don't know if I can get to my thing like this. I can. Okay, good. So, first of all, which shows the lengths of fabric in order from shortest to longest. So that's least to greatest, right? So before I get started, I'm going to look at my numbers, and I notice that they're all mixed numbers, and I notice 3 of them start with 3. I have a 2 and a 4. So I can use the 2 and the 4 whole numbers to say, okay, well, I know that the 2 one is going to be the smallest, and the 4 one is going to be the biggest, and the 3 ones are going to fall somewhere in between, okay? So, let me look at this. Stay out of the chat. All right, oops, not that small. A little bit bigger. Huh?
That part about the 5, was that supposed to be?
Least to greatest?
No, on the chart. That's a 1.
It's a 1. That's going to be the smallest. 5 is going to be the biggest, because 2 and 7/8, my whole number part of this mixed number is the smallest. It's 2 and something. Okay, so right now I'm going to go look at my answers. The least one has to start with a 2. So right away I can tell that I can cross out B and I can cross out D, because they don't start with 2 and whatever it is. 2 and 7/8. Okay, so the numbers that I do actually have to compare are going to be the 3 and 1/4, 3 and 5/6, and let's see, 3, 4, 3 and 5/6, and 3 1/2. Now, since they all have 3 as a whole number, I can ignore that. Okay. Are you able to see around here? So I'm going to ignore the whole number. And remember when we did that assignment when it was close to half or close to 0? Okay, so let's look at these numbers first. 1/4. If you have a fourth of something, do you have less than half or more than half?
Less than half.
You have less than half. If you have 5 out of 6 of something, do you have less than half or more than half?
More than half.
Okay, so I know that this one is smaller than this one just by what I know. And that is half.
So that one's the biggest?
No, okay, this is less than half, and then it would be half, and then it would be 5/6. But let's say I didn't know that and I have to compare them. So I'm going to compare 5/6 and 1/2. I'm going to switch colors over here. Okay, so remember the butterfly that we do here? 6 times 1 gives me 6. 2 times 5 is 10. So 10 is greater than 6. So 5/6 is greater than half. Okay, so I know that 1/4 is smaller than all of them. Both of those. So I've got my 1/4 is the third number. No, my bad. It's the second number. Then comes 1/2, because that is half, and this is more than half. So half gets the 3, 5/6 gets the 4.
Can we do it on both? Like write it on both?
You can if you want. Okay, but if you write it on paper, you can just put a P here that you did your work on paper. So now I'm going to compare A and B. Okay, so the first number in A and B are the same, so I'm going to ignore that. This one has 3 1/4 as the next smallest. This one has 3 1/2 as the next smallest. Well, I know that 3 1/4 is smaller than 3 1/2, so C is my answer, and that one is not. Any questions about what we did here? Anything that was confusing? Okay. So I'm going to give you about what?
I submitted mine.
Do you have to compare them with what? A half? Well, one of my numbers happened to have a half in it. So that made it, I could write 3 1/2. That's my half. I know that 1/4 is less than a half, right? We said it was less than half, so that would be on the left. And we said that 5/6 was greater than half. So that would go, if this was a number line, that would be on the right side of half. So that's my order right here. Okay, I wrote a lot more than I needed to on this. If your writing doesn't have all this, that's fine. Okay. Okay. All right, so go ahead and submit whatever you have. And we're going to get moving on here in about 20 seconds. Where did my class go? All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you. We are going to move on. I know, right? It's funny. That's why I keep losing my mouse, too. There it is. Okay, so I definitely want to go over this one. It's important that we understand how exponents work. So we're going to do this one as one of our corrections. So over here. Which expression is equivalent, which means the same, as 2 to the 6th times 3 to the 2nd? Okay, the first thing I'm going to do with my exponents is expand them. So how many 2's do I need to write?
6.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. I would write the dot, but the screen doesn't like when I write dots. So I'm just going to use multiplication sign. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I have a couple of 3's over here. Okay, I don't know why my chat box. Do I need to stop what I'm doing and go read that? Tell me. How many 3's do I need?
2.
Yeah, the chat if you don't need to be in the chat. Okay. Okay, so let's look at what our answer choices are, because it's always a good strategy to check your answer choices to see if there's anything you can get rid of. Well, I know exponents is multiplying my base a number of times here. So what? Okay, I really need you out of the chat box. I really need you out. Okay, H is division. We're not doing any dividing in this problem. Okay. And I want you to look at letter F. They wrote 2 times 6 times 3 times 2. They just copied down the order of these numbers here. They went 2 times 6 times 3 times 2. That's where they got that. Okay, so that's not equivalent. Okay, am I going to have to kick somebody out of this Teams? Hold on. I can't get my mouse back over here. Oh. Okay, let me check my Teams meeting real quick because there seems to be some sort of Teams emergency that somebody is chatting up my box here. Let's see what this emergency is. That they can't stop texting it. Christopher, you need to get out of that. You need to stop chatting, okay? That's not okay what you're doing here. Ella, you stay out of the chat too. Okay, I'm gonna have to take Christopher out of my meeting, I think. Well, he's not gonna be in here in my meeting. He can check the work later. I can't even get him out of this right now.
How did he type that faster? Oh my gosh! I think this is trying to annoy us now.
Yeah, he is. Can you do something about that? I don't have their phone number or whatever to get Christopher to stop spamming.
Stop the what?
No, seriously. Okay, so back to my problem. I noticed that my answers are in chunks. It's not like I multiplied all this stuff together and then got one big answer. Okay, so if I have all these exponents, we're going to do 2 times 2 is 4. Then I can do this 2 times 2 and get 4. And I can do this 2 times 2 and get 4.
That's what he did.
4 times 4 is 16. And I'm going to bring down this 4. 16 times 4 is actually 64. And 3 times 3 is what?
9.
So this one that is 12, I think they put that in there for students who go 2 times 6.
Oh yeah.
Okay, but we're not going to do that. So we don't need that. And there's our answer. Huh? Probably not. I mean, you might have gotten a... Oh, you were the highest scorer. And you did, so I will add some points to you to a different assignment if it needs to be, because that's what the test corrections is practice.
How many points are you going to add?
Or,
Because
I guess you really wouldn't have to do it if you're like the highest scorer out of all my kids. So I think you're good.
how
Huh?
many points are you adding?
I'm not sure yet. But it'll probably bump you up to 70 if you're below 70. Because we want to get everyone up to passing. All right. This is not cool, y'all. He's up in my lobby. Nope.
Yeah, but he's able to chat in the chat box. He doesn't have to be in that.
Yeah, you can start the second meeting, doesn't stop any student toddlers, you can still type in there.
Okay. Well, hopefully someone in his room will get him to stop.
I think you can,
You can disable chat.
Yeah, but
like they disabled like everyone's like chat where they can't chat like individual people. They just didn't disable them. You just have to wait it if they pick one that's not chat that happens.
all right. So our next one. Okay, so this problem is about ordering decimals. Which answer correctly orders these rainfall amounts from least to greatest? Huh? All right. So least to greatest. when we work with decimals, I like to think about it like money. Okay, so it's not going to be easy for me to do, but I'm going to try to write this out here because my board doesn't like decimals. So, yeah, but that's a pain.
How is it a pain?
0 point. Because what, am I going to make a text box for every single decimal I need? Or, you know, well, wait a minute. Now that you mentioned it, let me try something. If I have a period, then I could come down here and do another one. Do another one.
That's what I do sometimes.
That doesn't take too long. Huh? I hope so.
We should jinx it.
Okay, so I've got, that worked out okay, I guess. So I'm going to bring my decimals over here. All right. They're kind of small, though. I'll make
You can make
you.
the text bigger. You can make the text.
No, I'm not letting him in. Nope, not a choice.
And then put that.
Nope.
It's kind of hard to do. So go to text.
I'm not talking to you right now, Aiden, either. I'm in the middle of teaching, okay? So I don't need anyone doing all that chat business, and I don't need the interruptions right now. Oh, look at that. That's much better. Okay. That's good. Thank you. All right, so look at me lining up my decimals so nicely. All right. So, like I said, when we deal with decimals, we are going to think about money. So 0.36, that's like 36 cents. 2, that's our whole number, so that would be like $2. 0 is just 0. 1.2 would be like $1.20. $1.09. Oh no, I needed one more. Oh, you know what? I'll change this one to 0.9 instead of 0, and then I'll just write my 0 down here. Okay. That's a 0. It's an ugly 0, but it is still a 0. Okay, so I ordered my numbers. Now I'm going to go back and fill in any gaps with those placeholder zeros. Any questions yet? Okay. So if this was money, what would the least one be here? Zero. I don't have any negative numbers here, so my smallest number here is 0. So I'm looking at my answers, and I see 1 doesn't start with 0. It starts with 0.36. So I'm going to get rid of B. Can't be that. What is my largest amount here? $2. Yeah, 2, the total. So my answer has to have 2 as the greatest number. And this one has 1.09 as the greatest, so I know that can't be right. So now I'm down to 2. And actually, I can just come and look at here. C says 0, then it goes to 36, and then it go to 90, $1.09, $1.20, and 2. But D goes to 0 up to 90 cents, down to 36 cents, back to $1.09, to $1.20, and 2. So which of those is showing us least to greatest? C. Yeah. Because this one right here, they go from 9/10 to 36, and that's backwards. Okay.
He's saying reply to the conversation.
No. I'm recording this class. He can look at it later. I kicked him out of the live, but he was still texting from outside.
He's in the chat. He said why.
Oh, I
Who
why.
knows why?
See?
Well, he needs to be out of my meeting then altogether if he's gonna be. He's not. He's not. All right. Yeah. Okay, so last call for this one. If you have anything to add to the draw, do it now. Otherwise, we are going to go ahead and move on. Okay, here we go. That's the same question. I accidentally had it in twice. Okay, this is one that I do want to look at because once you get rid of some of the information, it's pretty easy. But the first thing I noticed about this question is the typing is a little crazy. It's like, I know that it's supposed to be fractions, but they're not lined up right. Okay, so I have to remember that they are talking about fractions, mixed numbers here. So let's go ahead and start with reading the question. How's that? These are the times that it took 4 runners to complete a marathon. Which inequality correctly compares the times of the 2 fastest runners? Now, if I'm in a race, do I want the least amount of time or the greatest amount of time to win?
The greatest and the least.
I want the smallest number to win. The person who takes the least amount of time is my winner. They're the fastest. So I got to remember that. So I'm looking for the smallest numbers to compare. I'm going to, which inequality correctly compares the times of the 2 fastest runners? So I only have to compare 2 numbers, the fastest runners, right? All right, so that tells me I can get rid of the 2 largest numbers that are up here. I have 5 2/3 and 5 1/2. We don't need those numbers. That would be the slowest runners. Okay, and now let's check our answers. C has a 5 in it, and so does A, right? So right there, I got rid of half my answers. But I still need to compare the numbers here. They both start with 4, so I'm going to ignore the 4s right now. And I'm going to compare 9/10, 9/10, and 3/4. Okay, going from bottom to top diagonally, 10 times 3 gives me 30. 4 times 9 is 36. So 36 is greater than 30. So 9/10 is greater than 3/4. So I'm going to look at my answers. Which one of these is compared correctly? This one says 9/10 is less than 3/4. This one says 9/10 is greater than 3/4. So which one is worded correctly? You think 9/10 is less than? This one. Yeah. Okay. Any questions on that one?
No.
What's that?
So, what if they're like 4 numbers, but not the,
Fraction?
yeah, not the fraction, there's the number that makes it a mixed number.
Yeah, the whole number.
What if that one is 2 different numbers, or 3 different numbers?
So even if it was like 23, if it was 23 and 9/10 compared to 23 and 3/4, if the whole numbers are the same, we can ignore them and just compare the fractions. Because they kind of zero out if they're the same mixed number. They're tied for the same place.
And then what would we do not the
If they're not the same, if I was having to compare the 4 and 9/10 and 5 2/3, it's easy to tell which one's smaller. Because the whole number's smaller. All right. Go ahead and submit if you haven't submitted yet. I'm going to look at my attendance. I'm going to do this. Once we get started. Oh, a lot of people had questions on this one. So yes, we're going to do this one. There's lots of strategies that we can use. Okay, then it's a good thing we're going over it. Question? You what? Well, I'm not doing all of them. Just write number 6 here. Yeah. That's the one that we're going to work on. Okay, so Cynthia ran a half marathon, which is 13.1 kilometers, at an average rate of 2 6200 kilometers per hour. How many hours did it take for her to complete the half marathon? So I'm looking for how many hours. My goodness. Okay, so the total she goes is 13 kilometers, and she's going to go at about 3 miles an hour. So we need to find how many hours it's going to take her to go that far. Put it down for now. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to use estimation on this one. So I'm going to write the word estimate. Oops. Doesn't like my writing. E-S-T-I-M-A-T-E. Estimate. 13.1 kilometers. We're just going to call that 13. Okay. So I have 13 kilometers. And 2.62 kilometers per hour. The 6th and the 10th place, so would that bump it up to 3 kilometers per hour, or would I round down to 2 kilometers per hour? It's got a 6th and the 10th place. We're going to go up to 3? Okay, so 3 kilometers, and this is going to be, or 13, and that one's going to be 31. Okay, so this will be an easier problem for me to solve. I need to take 13. The race is about 13 kilometers, and she's going to go about 3 miles an hour. How many times can 3 go into 13? 4 times, good. And that'll be 12. Okay, I'm going to put a decimal in. Come on, it hates decimals. It really hates decimals.
You just do like a line. Just do a line.
I'm trying. There. That's a decimal, believe it or not.
Okay.
And I'm going to add a 0 and bring that down. So now it's 10 down here. How many times can 3 go into 10? 3 times, right? Because 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 3 is 9. That's going to give me 1. I'm going to stop there. So my answer should be right around 4 times. But I did round, so it's not going to be exactly. Which of these answers are way far away that I could get rid of?
34.
And even G might be a little high, but I can pretty much tell from here what it's going to be.
It's going to be
Okay, so if you really love dividing decimals, then you would come over here and you would write 131. You don't have to write this. Point. Oh, no. I put my decimal wrong, please. 13.1. There, okay. And then it would be 2.62 on the outside. Okay, that's how I would set it up if I was going to divide this problem from scratch. But if you're like me, I would rather multiply than divide, so we're going to work backwards. I'm going to take the 5 from the answer, multiply it by the 2.62 to see if I get 13.1. I'm going to work backwards. 2.62 times 5. So do you think that looks easier than this? Yeah. Okay, 5 times 2 is what?
10.
5 times 6 is
30.
plus 1.
31.
Good. And then 5 times 2 again?
10.
Plus 3.
13.
Okay.
And then we.
I have to come back in 2 spaces and put a
So
decimal.
13 and 10 is the answer.
Mhm.
13.10.
So that means I worked backwards from 5, and I got 13. So that was my answer. And I could divide, and
So it would be the same as the one that we put up there. Like, so if we did that for all of them, then the answer would equal 13.1.
the answer is only going to equal 13.1 when we use 5.
Yeah, so if you did this, you would want it to equal one of the other numbers. that
Yes.
you didn't use.
Yeah, it's like a fact family. Okay, so the way that they assume we're going to solve this problem would be 13.1 divided by 2.62 is going to equal 5. But like any other fact family, I can switch it around and multiply instead. So starting here, 5 times 2.62 is going to equal 13.1.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so yeah, it's confusing, and this was kind of an ugly problem. But like I said, if you really like dividing decimals, okay, and maybe you didn't even have to do the estimating, okay? You could have come over here and say, well, you know what, if I want to work backwards, these numbers are really big. I'm going to try 5, because when I multiply, it's going to be easiest for me to start with a small number, right? So I would start with 5. And if my answer was way wrong, then I'd be like, whoa, 5 is way too little, and I would move to something else to try it. Okay. And that is a different strategy than just doing it the way they expect.
When I go to the next side, I can
3 more minutes. Okay, hold on.
and I put the
Oh, wait. Let me go back because I do like that question. Okay, this one's going to be a lot faster. Which expression is equivalent to 540 divided by 12? Well, they should have a number there instead of another problem, so we actually have to do this before we can do anything else. So I would have 540 divided by 12. How many times can 12 go into 54? 12 times what? We give them close. Do we have to practice our 12s?
4.
12 times 4, yeah. 12 times 4 is 48. And that would leave me a 6 and a 0. 12 times what is 60? 12 times what is 60?
5.
Yep. Okay, so 45. Which expression is equivalent to 45? Okay, so I'm going to come over here. And right now I can see 3 times 5 is 15. That's not going to be it. This one right here has 3 times. So this would be 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. So I'm at 27. I'm going to multiply by 5. That would be way more than 45. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that one's really big. Let's see this one. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 5 is 30.
Yeah.
Not big enough. That was only 30.
So
This one is 3 times 3. This one will be broken up as 3 times 3 times 5. You don't want to write for me. 3 times 3 times 5. So that's 3 times 3 is 9, times 5, 45.
So that's the answer.
That's the answer, for sure. All right. So I'm going to take attendance. Y'all write down whatever you're going to write. And let's see who's in my Teams meeting. Ava, Jasmine. Ava, Jasmine. Is Victoria here today? Nisa's here. Michaela. Nisa.
Where do we put the paper in?
You're going to turn that into me. Circle your name. Circle your name on your paper.
Can we highlight it?
Yep, either way. Who? Alex? He what? Michaela is here. Oh, okay. Azariah is not here. Yes. Yes, we are done. Make sure. Okay, so yeah, you guys are online, so you're good. So in real person, who are we missing? We got Andrew. Elijah was here. Maddie's here. Nathaniel's here. Chase. Put it right here on top, and I'll get it. Chloe's here. Ivan. I saw Ivan's name earlier, but he didn't stick around. Thank you. She was online. And Blair is here. Okay. Did any of what we did help you understand these problems?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you recorded it so we can go back and look at it?
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and end this recording.